Tracy here. Well, today I'm going to share with you a flip in my Fauxbonichi journal, and this is for November, so that means I am totally caught up on all my videos. Yay for me! So let's get into it. I cannot tell you how good it feels to be caught up. So here's November, and we will start with my 2-page spread of the month and my goals. And my first goal, as always, is to get 10,000 steps a day. And as you can see, I didn't do too well in November. I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I missed like 6 days. So I missed like almost a week. Even though it wasn't a week straight, still. Oh, I really got to up my game in December. And then I'm only supposed to have 1 can of Coke a week. Well, I just jumped off that wagon and ran, I'll tell you. Look at Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, Friday, Sunday, Sunday. Even these days, look at, I had 2 on these days. Like, it was bad. It tasted really good, but I mean, I shouldn't have done that. But I'm going to try again to only have my 1 on the weekend. And then my next goal was to read 1 book per month, and I did. I read 1 book on the 24th, and I wanted to organize 1 area in my home once a month, and I did 2. I did my laundry room, and then I did under my stairs. And under my stairs was a disaster. My friend and I, every once in a while, we will get together and I'll go to her house and we'll do a room, and then she'll come to my house and we'll do a room. And when I showed her under my stairs, she's like, oh my goodness, that's a Monica closet. And I go, yeah, I know. I have lots of Monica's closets around my house. So that is the full month spread. And then on the first day, can you imagine? Walking Dead Day. So that's what we did on that Sunday, and that is a stamp, and I just colored it in with some colored pencils. And also this day I semi-organized my work shed, so I should give myself another little stamp for that one. And then of course our Walking Dead Day. And then this day here, I found this card and it says press pause. So I just wrote, if we really could press pause in our life. And I said, I wish I could push pause on the clock. Then I could get so much done without losing time. I have so many things I want to do, but seem to run out of time. But in all honesty, if I used my time better, I could probably accomplish a lot more. To do this, I would need less computer, wake up earlier, nightly to-do list, stop procrastinating, do things now. That is probably going to be one of my goals, as it usually is, but in the new year is just like do things. And then these were paint chips. I love the colors of those because I want to paint my rooms different colors. Wrote to create more, read more, organize my craft room, and clean and organize the house. Those are things that I want to accomplish more of. And then on this day, I took apart a stamp. This stamp had circles behind it. I showed it on my blog, and I didn't like the circles behind it, so I cut them out, and I really had to cut a lot of this stamp out to just get the maple leaves. So I did that, and then I colored them with my colored pencil crayons and the Gamsol. Not too much this day, just hung out with Heather, and then I made a video. I can't remember what the video was, but probably on a Fauxbonichi flip, I betcha. We have a lake in the front of our driveway, and I have phoned the city, I don't know how many times. Well, I phone them every year to come and fix it, and I actually had to phone them 3 or 4 times this year to finally come and do it. And this, I don't know if you could tell by this picture, but look at that, all that water. He was pushing it, and it was going over the sidewalk, and they were just moving the dirt over, like they brought more dirt. But they had repaved our street a few years ago, I guess, and I had asked them, are you going to pave the side where it hits the sidewalk? And they said, no, unless you pay for it. So like my brother said, the city wants to spend $1 to save a nickel, because if they would have done the paving all the way to the sidewalk, this would not have happened, because they would have had a gully all the way to, or a little mini ditch or whatever, all the way to the grate where the water drains. But they didn't, so every year, at least a couple times a year, they have to come and fix that. I don't know where the dirt goes, but it disappears every year. They could probably do that a couple times a year. So that's that day. That was a big event in my life, that's fine. If that's the biggest event I have in my life, I'm good with that. And then my daughter played Till Dawn, and it's a video game and you get to make choices along the way. And she made me make the choices, which I think I got a few people killed in that video game from the choices I made. I like when I have my pages together. Like I've mentioned before, I'm a scrapbooker and I've always done 2-page spreads. So this is probably why I like the look of this. And what I did was I just used a stamp, this $1.50 stamp from Michael's that I bought years ago, and I stamped it all the way around, and then I just added some ink there just to make it pop a little bit more. And this day I went over to my friend Lynn's house, and she's the one that will organize one area in my house and one area in her house, and she wanted to do her laundry room. So she doesn't know how to use any type of power tools. I even tried to teach her, and well, let's just say she'll be phoning me from now on to help her with that. Because her laundry room is unfinished. So we had to take some things down, and then we put pegboard on for walls and hung up some shelves and a hanging rod. So that was the one day. And the next day I went over to her house and we did the same thing. We just did a little bit more detailed organizing. And then when I came home, I felt motivated and I started organizing my laundry room, which wasn't a big deal. I've done it before. I wanted a pantry type cupboard. So that's what I did this day on the Saturday. My husband and I, we went, picked up a pantry. The thing is, when I bought the pantry, I didn't realize it wasn't the size I wanted. Like, this pantry is maybe 5 feet tall. No, maybe not even 5 feet. Because it is... Am I taller than it? I can't remember because I'm not even 5 feet. But it was pretty tiny. And I'm like, oh, well, I put it together, so I'm not going to return it. I thought I could get another one, and then finally I just told myself, you know what, I don't need everything in here. I'm going to use it. So what I did was I defunkified my laundry room and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff in there. And then for this border here, I just used this stamp set and just stamped right on here, like a few different colors of ink, and then stamped it down. And then this day, see that? Zombies? My husband for work has a file folder. And for some reason, they gave my husband pink. My husband is not a pink kind of guy. He's likes to hunt and fish and, you know, that kind of a guy. So when he brought this pink folder home, he asked me if I can alter it. And I had some zombie paper. And I'm like, would you like this? He's like, yes, zombify it, he said. I'm like, okay. So I put zombies on it, and I totally altered it. And he just loves it. So he was so excited to bring that back to work to show the lady that takes care of it. Oh, this is the day that Lynn came over, my friend, and we did my under the stairs area, which she calls Monica's closet. But you know what? It looks pretty darn good now. I can actually walk in there. Before, well, we won't even get into that, but before I couldn't walk in it. But now everything's all nice and organized. And actually, it didn't even take that long to do. Her room took 2 days. My room took like a few hours. So that wasn't too bad. It was just deciding on what I don't need. My husband, this day, he was putting his razor away, and when he lifted his hand up, the cupboard door was open, and he smucked his knuckle on it, and he didn't want to tell me about it. So he went out that evening. Then he came home, and he showed me his knuckle and said, do you think I should worry about this? His knuckle looked like it was moved up. His whole hand was swollen, and his knuckle bone was like, it looked awful. And I said, it looks broken or dislocated. So I think you should. But when he explained it to me, I thought he knocked it on the door of the truck, which would have made sense. But when he told me it was on the cupboard in the bathroom, I'm thinking, well, you had to have hit it pretty bad. The emergency room was totally packed in there. I forget how many hours. We had to wait, like 4 hours, I think. The doctor said it wasn't broken, but I insisted he gets x-rays because he broke his wrist a few years ago, and they said it wasn't broken, and it was. And he also pulled some tendons and I don't know what else. So that happened a few years ago. It was broken for a few weeks, if not longer, before they're like, oh yeah, it is broken, and they casted it, which after a few weeks, I'm pretty sure it's already set, and he still has trouble with that wrist. So yeah, I know my husband, he's not one to cause a stink. So it was good that I went with them, because he probably would have walked out of there without x-rays. Mind you, like I said, it wasn't broken, and it looks a lot better now, and he can move it now. So that's good that he just had to have a splint for that. And then, because whenever my kids do well or something, I always get them ice cream. So the night we were at the hospital, I told him, if you're a good boy, I'll take you for an ice cream. Well, the next day, he took off work, and he's like, I didn't get my ice cream for being a good boy. So the next day, I took him out for ice cream. The 11th, of course, was Remembrance Day. So what I did on these pages was I stamped these poppies, which aren't really poppies, but they look like it once I stamped them in red and added the black circles in the middle. What I did was I printed up the Flanders Field poem. I printed that up from the internet and just adhered it to the page, and then wrote what I was thankful for that day. This was kind of busy. My daughter Heather played a video game, and I love to watch video games. I'm not very good at playing them anymore because they're so detailed with all those different controls and stuff like that, so I like to watch them. So I set up a little area to work in my journals. In my daughter's room, I had a little desk and a chair, and then she played video games, and so I watched her. And it snowed all day, and it wasn't a good day to go out, so I kind of stayed at home. And then my daughter Ashley, she was texting me, she discovered the world of planners. And she's a working woman, so she knows about planners, but she discovered the decorating and all the little fun things to it. So she wanted me to go to Michael's with her because some of the planners were on sale. And I really didn't want to go out for the fact that it snowed. But I went out with her anyway because it sounded like a great outing to go on. Michael's, why not? So I went, and they were on sale, so I asked her if she wanted one for Christmas. First, actually, I picked one up for me. I need another planner, like I need more paper. But I grabbed one for me. And then I said, do you want one for Christmas? And she goes, yeah, sure. So I grabbed one for her. And then I told them, you know what? I had a challenge for myself not to spend any money on any crafty stuff. So I went to go put my planner down. So Ashley and Christy picked it up, and they said, we'll get it for you for Christmas, Mom. So I thought, cool. I don't have to spend any money, so I'm not ruining my goal. And they're getting it for me for Christmas, so I get it anyways. So that was a great way to work around my no spending for November. And then I just went back to my daughter's house, and we visited her husband and their puppies. Friday the 13th, I had said that it turned out to be a pretty good day, but then didn't hear about the Paris attacks until the next day. So that's why it's not on this page. But what did I do? Oh, I cleaned my area. I cleaned my room that day. See how messy it is? And then look how clean it is. But it's still messy. Half the stuff's under the table. But I mean, it was a start. It was a start. I cleaned my desk and I cleaned the floor. So that's what I did that day. And what else happened? Well, Friday is Friday night scrapbooking. My friends come over every Friday night, and we scrapbook or make cards or what. Everybody does their own kind of thing, but we're all together. And I had a stamping up party the month before, and my order came in. So everybody was there that had their order, so everybody was happy. And then my daughter came over to work on her planner, and also her friend came over. So we're getting the younger generation to come to our scrapbooking days. Actually, her friend, my daughter Ashley and her friend Leah used to come years ago when I used to have it, and then they just stopped coming because they have lives. And now they're coming again, not because they don't have lives, but because they just enjoy crafting. And like I said, Ashley's discovered the planning world, so she's been having fun decorating her planner. And then the next day, this Saturday, my husband and I went to camp because he had to, I don't know, something with TVs, and I don't know, he got a new TV, so he wanted to bring the other one to camp and whatever. And this was the scene at camp. Isn't that beautiful? The snow on the trees, and then the lake was open. There was no ice on the lake. It was just stunning, and the sun was shining. It was even driving there, everything was just beautiful. So that's what we did that day. We drove up to camp, and then when we came back, my husband and I stopped off at a little restaurant and had our hamburgers and French fries. So that's what we did on the 14th. The 15th, again, was Walking Dead. I never got around to coloring him up, but I wrote those letters and then drew on the blood dripping off of The Walking Dead. Wayne and I just went for dinner, just Wayne and I. We were going to have leftovers for supper, and then my daughter told me her boyfriend was coming over and informed me that there wasn't enough leftovers, more or less for Wayne and I. So I'm like, that's fine, you guys have your leftovers. And Wayne and I went out for supper at Montana's. So they were like, oh, you're going out for dinner? I'm like, yep, enjoy your leftovers as we walked out the door. Oh, I guess I shouldn't talk about The Walking Dead if you haven't watched it. But if you haven't watched it, too bad, so sad. You should watch it. But something major happened on The Walking Dead, and I was like freaking out. Like, seriously, I was like freaking out. So that was the Sunday. Monday, my friend Lynn came over for tea. So I drew these funky little teacups. Haven't colored those in either. I just seem to not color in that day, those 2 days. So my friend Lynn came over for tea. I worked on my journal. Oh, and also this day, my husband's TV came in, and the guy actually delivered it. And also his couch for his game room, TV room, music room, whatever you call it, his man cave. They both came in. He was busy that day. Also this day, I made a banana cream pie. And there's only 4 of us in the home now, so can you believe we cut it in quarters and each of us had 1/4 of a whole pie? Like, talk about gluttons, but oh, it's so good. For these pages, I just went a little artsy and I drew these women's faces, and on this girl, I call her my fall girl. So after coloring her in, I used my colored pencils, and I really don't like how the shading of the faces turned. I haven't found a good color to use for the flesh with those Blick's pencil crayons. But I just stamped leaves, so her hair are leaves. And then this lady here, she is my rain girl. And what I did was I just inked the background of her hair, or inked the background here, and then drew raindrops for her hair because it rained all that day. And as much as I love this sparkly paper, it rubs, just in the book it rubs. So I don't know if you can tell, but in the seam here, totally full of sparkles. So I don't know how long that's going to last on there. So this day I made my mom's sweet and sour spare rib recipe, which is delicious. But as the sauce was cooking on the stove in my big pot, I kind of got sidetracked with Facebook and the computer, and it burnt to the bottom of the pot. Like, there is, like, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you how long it took me and my husband to scrub that pot. Like, my daughter says, throw it away and buy a new one, and I was totally tempted to do that. We got that sucker cleaned out though. And then Wayne was downstairs most of the day getting his man cave ready. He had it all ready, and I had said to him, we should watch The Dirt down there. That's a manly show to watch, right? So we went down there and we watched The Dirt and we watched Gold Rush. And like I had mentioned before, my husband is in a sand and gravel business. He has his whole life since he was a kid. He loves that kind of show because it's the same equipment. So he likes that show. And then this day, my daughter and I just brought her Jeep in to get a look over. Well, actually, it's my Jeep. My oldest daughter has had it for 5 years, so I just wanted them to do a look over and make sure it was safe for my other daughters to drive as well. And my daughter had it for 5 years, and I don't know if she did too much besides oil changes, so I just wanted them to do a look over of that. So these 2 days, it snowed both days, all day long, a lot of snow. What else happened? I did a video of my August flip, and I mentioned on here that it didn't take long to actually tape it and edit it, but it always takes like 3+ hours to save it to my computer, and then 6 to 9 hours to save it to YouTube. I don't know what I'm doing, or if there's an easier way. I have a Mac, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or what, but I'll tell you, it sure takes a long time to upload or save to my computer. I don't understand why. And YouTube is crazy long. This night, my daughter had a little bit of a scare. Her husband wasn't home and somebody was at their back door. And there's no reason to go to her back door. She has a fenced-in yard, so she was a little worried about that. But as soon as she phoned her husband, he came over and he didn't notice anything out of place. Hopefully the guy was just at the wrong door. And then Wayne took the day off work today and he shampooed the carpets. He does this every year, a couple times a year. I never shampoo the carpets. He always does that. And I made another video. So this is when I started, I guess, really going with my videos to catch up on all my journal flips. Again, complaining about how long it takes to do them. My daughter and her friend came over for Friday night scrapbooking. Is this the one I had trouble? Yes, oh my goodness, this one was trouble, this video. And I uploaded it, and when I went to watch it on YouTube at like 2:30 in the morning, there were blank spaces in the video. And I know what happened is it said I didn't have enough room to finalize my video. I was going to delete the pieces of video that I wasn't using, but because it wasn't finalized, I'm assuming, it started deleting the parts that I wanted to use. So I just got frustrated and I went to bed at like 2:30 or later in the morning. So this day, because of the same movie that it was missing segments, I had to come back downstairs and re-video those segments. Then I had to upload them to my computer. And then I had to put them in the spot where they were missing. And then I had to finalize the video, which was another 3-something hours. And then I had to upload it to YouTube, which was 9-something hours. Would you believe the next day I checked my video at 1 o'clock in the morning and the music was not in the correct place. Instead of the music being at the very end, it went through part of the video and you couldn't even hear anything I said. So I had to go back and I had to move the music to the right spot. I had to finalize it again, which was another 3 hours, and then I had to upload it to YouTube. And so Monday, I think it was finally uploaded. Everything was good to go. But I'll tell you, frustrating, like 3 times uploading a video, and it was my fault. Both of those errors were both my fault. So I can't get upset with anybody but me. So yeah, that night, that Sunday, I didn't go to bed till 4 o'clock in the morning by the time that I uploaded it to YouTube, and then I just went to bed, and it was uploading while I was in bed because I was like, this is insane. And my daughter came over both these days. My daughter Ashley came over and she worked on her planner. Wayne and I went into his room and we watched the last few episodes of The Walking Dead, and then we always watch it with my daughter Christy, so we went upstairs because he only has a love seat in his man cave, so we went upstairs because we like to watch it with our daughter. Then this day, I picked up my friend on her lunch break, and my other friend met us there, and we were going to pick up our Scrap for Heart tickets for the scrap that we go to every February. And sadly, they didn't come in through the printer. Like, the printers didn't deliver them because they were having trouble, so we never did get to go and get our tickets, but we did go out for lunch that day, so that was nice. I'm getting to hang out with my friends. This is just some private stuff that has nothing to do with me, so I can't share that. And then this day, I just kind of vegged at home most of the day, and I read this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and there's some good pointers in there that she had made, and one of them, which I can vouch for, one of them is to focus on what you want to keep, not what you have to get rid of, which before even reading this book, that's how I organized my curio cabinet, is I focused on what I wanted to go in there, and then getting rid of the stuff was so much easier because it's like, oh, well, I don't need this anymore. So that is a good way of looking at getting rid of some stuff, is what you want to keep and then get rid of the rest. That's just extras. So I read that, and as you can see from the picture, I took the picture outside, there's snow on the ground. My husband had a doctor's appointment, so he took the day off work. And I had these little kitty stickers, and I just thought they were perfect because he took the day off work, and he drives all those kind of machines. So I thought, oh, those look cute. I went looking for a new desk. I need a new desk for my craft room. This one has a big bow in the middle. It's just one of those desks you get at Staples. Actually, I have a whole bunch of Post-it notes keeping things level on here. So I'm looking for like an old teacher's desk, and I found a few, but they were altered so bad that I'm like, no, I'll keep this desk and I'll just keep looking for something I want. And then on the 26th, my friend and I, we did end up, a different friend, Sharon and I, we went and we picked up our Scrap for Heart tickets and a couple other friends' tickets, and they were in. And I just used some old stickers to write Scrap for Heart on there. And what else? That's probably about it. And then I made a birthday card for Felane's mom, who you know her on YouTube as Whimsical Endeavors. She was having a challenge. So I mailed the card out, so I never did make a video because I had to hurry up and mail it out because I make things and then I take forever to mail them out. So she had to go, I had to make sure she got them. So I never got to make a video. And then this day I just played with some stickers that I had, some journal stickers, and I just wrote about my day on them. And this day, my daughter came by. This is Friday night scrapbooking. Her friend didn't come, but she came more or less to hang out with her sisters than hang out with me and my friends. I had my family over for my Fauxgiving. Being from Canada, our Thanksgiving is in October, but I always try to make an excuse to have another big meal with my family, so I tell them that I have Fauxgiving. And I think my son-in-law, he gets a kick out of that when he's like always looking forward to Fauxgiving. And then this day, dun dun dun, it was the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. So my husband and I spent from 1 o'clock on in his man room or man cave or TV room or whatever, and we watched all the old episodes from this season and then went upstairs and watched the final one upstairs. So that was a fun day. I know I didn't even get my steps in because of that, because I sat on my butt all day watching TV. And then this last day here, my husband came home from work, as he always does for lunch. His lunch is like 10 o'clock, but he'll come swing by home. I was on the phone when he came, so I didn't really talk to him, but I couldn't figure out why he wasn't making his lunch or why he wasn't eating. As I was walking around, I picked up my cell phone, and I read a text from him, and it said something about he had a chipmunk cheek and he's going to the dentist. So I'm like, I gotta get off the phone. My husband's home, and I haven't even really looked at him. And so I hung up the phone and I look at him and his cheek is swelled up, and he says, my tooth isn't really that sore, but he went to the dentist and he had to get a root canal because it was infected. So he's on antibiotics and he has a partial root canal. And I drew the tooth, believe it or not. That's his ouchie tooth. Because of that, he took the rest of the day off work. And what did we do? I think he just had the dentist appointment most of the day off and on. He had to go back again later that day. And then we just kind of hung out the rest of the day and maybe watched a movie, I think. Yeah, we watched a movie. So that is my flip for November. So nice to be caught up. And I'll see, December's calendar is completed. So that is it. That is all. That is my flip. There you go. That is my November flip in my Fauxbonichi journal. I am so happy that I'm finally caught up. So thank you everybody for joining me, and I hope you all have a very creative day. Bye now.